U.S. immigration attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your questions, and I have a great topic for you. It's a very important one at that, and it's proving your marriage is real for the green card. Now, you may be thinking about this in the marriage based green card process, but this is also required in other types of applications as well. And there are two that I can think of right now. One is where you're applying, going from the 2 year green card to the 10-year green card. When you get your green card, your permanent residence, if you've been married to your spouse for less than 2 years, you will get what's called, it's like a temporary green card. It's a 2 year green card. In about 1 year and 9 months, you have 1 year and 9 months to the deadline, the time the card expires. You have to start to make the moves to remove the condition so that you can get the 10-year permanent residence. You're not going to be able to continue to have residence in the United States or to gain citizenship in the United States without that 10-year green card. So you have to make sure that you go ahead and um, remove the conditions on the the temporary permanent residence. To do that, you have to show that your marriage is real. So you're still going to find yourself, even though you showed it before, you have to show it again. And so proving your marriage is real for the green card is very much relevant with this type of application. And then VAWA, right? Even though you may not be with your spouse, you may be separated from your spouse right now, there is still the requirement that you entered a marriage in good faith before they will issue. And this is where you're applying for VAWA based on the mistreatment by a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse. But even though that spouse was mistreating you, it is still a very important requirement to show that you entered the marriage in good faith. The way you're going to present the evidence is going to differ based on the situation, based on the couple, based on the type of application. For example, in VAWA, what I find is that the type of evidence that we would use to present to show the bona fides of the relationship may be a little different, if especially where the spouse may have denied the immigrant spouse access to a bank account, or where they did not put them on property, because sometimes a part of the abusive pattern is that control and deprivation of money or property, or there is a lack of evidence to show that you shared in property, the spouse's shared property, because of that abusive tendency. So the way that we approach the bona fides in a VAWA case is going to be different from the bona fides in the situation where the spouses are together, they're fully cooperating with each other to reach that common goal of getting the green card. So I'm going to delve into a little detail based on each type of situation. Now, in the meantime, while I talk about this topic, you can go ahead and put your questions. It can be anything, it can be related to the topic that I'm talking about, or it can be something completely different as long as it's immigration related. Thanks for the love. So start putting your comments, questions in the comments, and I will go ahead and answer. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, I'm monitoring the comments on both of them. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments and I'll go ahead and answer. So let's start with the marriage based, right? So I noticed that there's this nagging question that comes on my page sometimes that says, well, we don't live together, or we have no kinds of evidence to show that we're married. And in a case like that, guess what? Even I would be suspicious that the marriage is not real and that there's some kind of scheme going on if one person is telling me that they have absolutely no evidence to show, I've heard individuals say, we don't have any bank accounts, we don't have any property, we don't live together, we don't have pictures together, we don't have friends, we don't talk to friends and family, we don't have, we only had, paid witnesses at our wedding. And in a case like that, and I've heard it more often than I would like. In that situation like that, no lawyer is going to be able to help you to get permanent residence. That's a hopeless case, okay? Because I think in a situation like that, they're thinking, if I just get married and I present the marriage certificate, I'm good as gold, I'm going to get the green card. And that's not the case. You're entering dangerous territory when you think that all you need are the wedding pictures and the marriage certificate. So, if you are going to go ahead and apply for a marriage based green card, it has to be real. It is not legal. It is not permissible, and I definitely don't represent individuals who are getting married just for the green card, because when I hear that, that's what I think. When you say you have nothing to show that your marriage is real, nothing, no pictures, no anything, only the wedding pictures, the day of the wedding, and the marriage certificate. So that's not acceptable. But you do have situations where couples, real couples, also have that misconception, and they make that major mistake in the application process of doing that. They're like, we're good as gold, right? We're married. Let's just submit the marriage certificate, and let's go ahead and just submit some nice pictures of the wedding all on one day. We're not going to show pictures at different occasions or with other family members, and let's call it a day. We're going to be good as gold. And then they find out it turns into a very messy, long, delayed, frustrating process. And this is what I help my clients with. I help my clients to get through the process as quickly as possible and as smoothly as possible, with my experience and my knowledge about what's going to be best for them. Another major mistake that I see here is when you're trying to prove that your marriage is real. So now you've gotten it, right? Okay, you have to show documents proving that your marriage is real. The next thing is like, okay, what do I submit? And my follow up question is always going to be, well, what kind of marriage do you have? Because submitting the evidence is not going to be a one size fits all, right? And sometimes when you try to do that and you try to fabricate evidence, or you try to make some evidence quickly, that is also a red flag to the officer. So for example, if you just run out and go create a bank account, but you never use the bank account together, you just have both of your names on it, that's a red flag. Or if you so there's no activity in the bank account, you just think, okay, you want to just check off a box, joint bank account, you go ahead and do that. Or you just run out and get any old insurance. So you run out and get maybe a dental insurance, or you get some easy insurance, just to say that both of your names are on an insurance policy. That can be a red flag. So the evidence that you submit has to be meaningful evidence. And I guarantee you're in a meaningful marriage, you're in a marriage where you are looking to the future with your spouse. There is going to be some evidence that we can use. You just may not be sure of what the best evidence is. And that's where I help my clients to put a solid petition together. Now, some of the most common types of evidence would be the joint bank account, but you have to make sure that it's a real bank account with transactions in there, or savings account where both of you are putting money in there. Where there you may be a new couple. So another thing is, where you may be a new couple, you don't really have a lot established yet, but you want to make sure you get a move on with your process. Then you're going to look to certain other types of evidence, right? You may have just gotten married, but now you live together. The joint lease would be helpful in that situation. If you